What do you do for a living? Are you a bank teller, in construction? Maybe you're in retail or medicine. Whatever you do, chances are that this past year didn't see you throwing your body around a 20 by 20 canvas in front of thousands of wide-eyed, disbelief-suspending, JBL-fearing wrestling fans. And if you just so happen to do exactly that this year, I know you're watching Kurt Hawkins, you're not on the list. WWE superstars put their bodies on the line, some more than others, for our entertainment and the love of the wrestling industry. And some of those individuals end up doing extremely well for themselves. This list includes money made from contracts, special bonuses, WWE merchandise sales, and outside opportunities as well. I'm Matt from Wrestling Universe, and this is the 10 highest paid wrestlers of 2018. Number 10, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens had a very successful year. Despite losing his Universal Championship in a match against Goldberg in 2017, which is something to brag about in and of itself, Owens went on to have one of the most talked about feuds of that year with Chris Jericho. Once that ended, Owens was off to SmackDown, where he was involved in yet another high-profile rivalry with Shane McMahon, during which he was even trusted to headbutt the chairman of the company, Vince McMahon. Owens even played a large role in Daniel Bryan's incredible return from what was thought to be a career-ending injury when he teamed with Sami Zayn to take on Bryan and Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. Having proved himself as a key player in the WWE time and time again, and showing some of the strongest fan support among the roster, has landed Owens at number 10 on this list, good for about $2 million. Number 9, Dean Ambrose. Ambrose is no stranger to success, and this isn't the first time he's been on a list like this. Ever since his original run as the maniacal leader of the Shield, Ambrose's stock has only continued to grow. The former Mr. Money in the Bank and one-time WWE champion was the first member of the Shield to complete becoming a Grand Slam champion in WWE. That is, for the uninitiated, a winner of the primary championship, both secondary titles, and a tag team championship. Unfortunately, Ambrose spent the majority of 2018 sidelined after a triceps injury, but luckily $2.2 million goes a long way to keep you busy over the course of 9 months. Number 8, The Undertaker. There's nothing I could say about The Undertaker that hasn't already been said about 2.5 million times before. The man is an absolute legend and one of the very few wrestlers that's been able to transcend the business and become a household name. His resume is unmatched, and even though he made fewer appearances than anybody else on this list, he still outsells the majority of much more active WWE stars of the day when it comes to merchandise. And I'm sure his WrestleMania paychecks aren't too shabby either. Number 7, Seth Rollins. The architect of the Shield, Mr. Burn It Down himself, has become a staple of the WWE, and as far as work rate goes, is one of the most consistently entertaining superstars in the company. His work inside the ring is almost unmatched. Along with that, he's got the look and charisma of a top-tier WWE superstar, which not only cemented him as a lifelong fan favorite, but landed him on the cover for last year's WWE 2K18. It's no surprise then that Rollins makes this list, and you'd be hard-pressed to find many arguing that he didn't earn every penny of that $2.7 million. Number 6, Randy Orton. Randall Keith Orton, the Viper, the Memerator, master of the handshake. Randy Orton at this point in his career is among the very last of a prolific class of superstars that came up through the ranks in the early 2000s. That list includes John Cena, Batista, and Brock Lesnar. With company like that and the long-spanning heritage of the Orton family in professional wrestling, it almost seems as if Randy were destined to play a pivotal role in the WWE. His popularity has been consistent through the years, and although he never seems to get credit for it, he's a master of in-ring psychology and one of the premier heels in the industry. And it's things like these that make it possible for Orton to earn his place on this list, even in a year that saw him mostly dabbling in the middle of the card before taking a brief hiatus. Number 5, Triple H. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the coolest dad in the room and one of the busiest men in the business. While we don't actually see most of what Triple H is doing from week to week in 2018, we do know that he's currently the Executive Vice President of Talent and Live Events and is responsible for the rise of much of the current breed of main event level talent. Not only that, but at 49 years old, he's maintained an appearance that most would struggle to be able to achieve at 25 years old, and is reserved for special events like WrestleMania and the new lineup of WWE live broadcasts they've been doing across the globe. I'm sure he does well with merchandise, but Triple H is among one of the top paid wrestlers with his in-ring contract alone, and when you combine his executive salary, the Cerebral Assassin brought in $3.2 million. Even still, you've got to wonder just how much higher the game would have been on this list if you included the cost of his super cool WrestleMania entrances in his annual income. Number 4, AJ Styles. At age 41 and arguably at the very top of the wrestling industry, at least in terms of in-ring ability, it's hard to believe that AJ Styles has only been signed to WWE for just over 2 years. The Phenomenal One was so massively successful wrestling in almost every other promotion that he was an instant hit with WWE fans upon his debut, and has been at the top of the card ever since. Already a 2-time WWE champion and a top merchandise mover within the organization, Styles has more than proven his worth and somehow shows no signs of slowing down. Believe it or not, he worked more dates than anyone else on the roster in 2017, and his passion for the business earned him $3.5 million in Styles cash. Number 3, Roman Reigns. Alright, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you have a strong opinion about Roman Reigns. All finished? Okay, now that we've likely broken YouTube, let's talk about what success looks like. 4 WrestleMania main events, 4 world title runs, a record for most eliminations in a Royal Rumble, a win over The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and a Royal Rumble victory. Whether you like it or not, Reigns is easily the most heavily featured superstar in the business. And despite all of the controversy surrounding his rise to the top and the general distaste for the big dog among hardcore fans, he's still one of WWE's best merchandise movers. I'm sure $4.3 million is enough money to drown out all of those beefs. Number 2, Brock Lesnar. Hey, do you remember that time WWE announced a new title? It's this big red one that Finn Balor's holding here, you see it? And then that title just sort of disappeared. Fun fact, it was actually in the custody of this terrifying muscle factory, Brock Lesnar. Alright, well, it's no secret that WWE fans grew tired of Lesnar's title reign due to his lack of defenses. That doesn't change the fact that the only reason he has such a limited schedule in the first place is because he's truly a spectacle. No one else in WWE has a list of accomplishments in professional sports like Brock. He's a legitimate badass and could easily decimate just about any member of the roster like a stack of Jenga blocks. Lesnar's impressive resume and imposing physique, coupled with the legendary promo work of manager Paul Heyman, is good for number 2 on this list at $6.5 million, all while he works less than 10% as often as the average roster member. Well played, Brock. Number 1, John Cena. John Cena. Is anyone surprised that John Cena tops this list? Not only is Cena still the number 1 earner when it comes to merchandise, he's also the only crossover star on the active roster. And while his role in 2018 has been dramatically reduced due to his outside endeavors with talking cows and all of that, he's still widely considered one of WWE's top draws while he works to build his career as an actor. And no one can blame him. He's been actively wrestling for WWE for over 15 years. And I wouldn't be shocked to see Cena shift to acting full-time within the next 2 or 3 years. Simply put, the 16-time world champion has absolutely nothing left to prove in WWE. However, Cena is currently scheduled to work the Super Showdown in Australia, as well as the Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia, so don't expect this to be the last time you see him on a list like this. Alright, it's that time of the video where I shamelessly plug the channel. You already know where this is going. If you like what we do here at Wrestling Universe, be sure to lay the smack down on that like button, stomp a mud hole in that comment section, and ring the bell to subscribe.